with me, it's amazing, Steve, that you said what you did, because I kind of meditate differently. But what's amazing is the two different forms of meditation, and these are the things that I said, that there are two different types. And you have what's called mind-focused meditation. And I told you guys I want you all to look this up so you can understand it. And you have something that's called mindless meditation. I think yours, based off of what you've said, has been mind-focused, and a lot of people are able to do great things with that. They'll take a scripture and they'll meditate on that. They'll take an image of Christ, a kind of concept. But with me, what I do, and you guys can try this, is very interesting. I do mindless meditation, and mindless meditation revolves around focusing in on the breath. So what you're doing is you're not really thinking about anything specifically. You're not thinking about a word, a text. You're not thinking about an image. But all you're doing is you're focusing on being completely meditative, completely consecrated and concentrated on absolutely nothing. You're focusing in on the breath, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Now, it sounds crazy, but when you focus in on that, you will find yourself kind of being sucked into a different type of dimension. It almost feels like you're dreaming, but you're not. And a lot of times you'll have thoughts that'll come through your mind, and, a lot of people say, well, you shouldn't think them. A lot of people say that you can embrace them. I'm not saying at this point one way or the other.
Well, this is exactly what the New Agers practice in transcendental meditation. It's called monkey mind meditation. In fact, I have audio of Shane Hibbs, who's the co-pastor with Rob Bell at Mars Hill Church in Grand Rapids, teaching people, guiding them through a monkey mind meditative practice so that they can have an experience of the divine in the form of this mysticism.
It's totally maddening to try and just stop thinking, right? And because we all know that's pretty much impossible, because the mind is like a frantic monkey bouncing around inside your brain, and trying to calm that is crazy. There's the practice, the actual way to do this best is just to learn to watch your thoughts. Don't try and control them. Don't try and contain them. Don't resist them and don't retain them. Welcome them and watch them, and then wave goodbye. Sounds really strange. I'll tell you why it's important, though. Remember I said that discipleship is about the mind and the body, and enlightenment is experienced in the spirit. This is a practice that gives you distance from the mind.
We have Rob Bell also leading, youth, leading many Christians into mystical practices, into different forms of mysticism and different forms of contemplative prayer, different forms of Eastern meditation.
Central to the Christian tradition for thousands of years have been disciplines of meditation, reflection, silence, and breathing.
Silent prayer is when you go to a silent place and then you quiet the mind. And you don't say anything to God. You just be.
For instance, Bell he leads, his audience and says, put one hand on your belly, put another hand on your chest, take a deep breath and breathe slowly, and then he simulates it. And
take one hand, place it upon your belly. Take one hand, place it upon your chest. Let's breathe for a moment, shall we?
And he's leading them into Eastern mysticism.
When this show is over, what I want you to do is take this link, go to it, and just watch it, all right? Go through it, and the instructions that are given are really some really great things. So I would love, member of my team, whenever you're ready, please put that in the chat room, and you guys can take that after everything is over. For those of you who are listening, it is www.youtube.com/watch?V equals EORSMXSVHPE.
Observe normal breathing. be with your breath. Then the density of the thoughts reduces. Slowly breath becomes thinner and shorter. Finally, breath becomes the smallest and settles like a flash in between the eyebrows. In this state, one will have no breath and no thought. He will be totally thoughtless. This state is called Nirmal Sthiti, or no thought state.
Well, where did this come from? Where exactly did this practice originate? Well, it originated with a group of monks out in the deserts of North Africa and the Middle East.
I learned all of my principles and all of my ways through a person who was a monk. All right, this dude owned nothing. He didn't care nothing about clothes. He didn't care nothing about cars. I used to try to give him money. He wouldn't take it. He said, Joe, when you understand, when you really know God, he says meditation and astral projection does nothing more than enhance your relationship with God.
They like to make their followers feel they're going back to the early church fathers, and they're not. The earliest church fathers in the first 3 centuries weren't into this mysticism. In fact, the emerging church would be considered outright heretical in the first 3 centuries of church history. They go back to the Roman Catholic desert fathers that came post-early church. These desert fathers picked up on a lot of the practices of the mystery religions, the pagans, the Buddhists, and what have you, with regard to contemplative prayer and emptying your mind.
Contemplative prayer is not a prayer that's ever defined in the Bible, and that's important to note. You'll never go to the Bible and have this outlined in Scripture. Here is how you practice contemplative prayer. It's not drawn from Scripture. Very important to note that.
Meditating on the Bible is, what is God saying to me? What's your will, Father? How do I please you and glorify you? And you begin to pray and talk to him about his word. Real biblical meditation. Lord, give me strength to obey you and obey your word. And it's a joyous encounter with God when you truly seek the Lord through his word.
Meditation is practicing thinking about nothing.